Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. My name is Emma. So we were trying to create content for this video, and since this video is supposed to be an introduction to Tigrinya/is alphabets, we naturally looked for some Tigrinya alphabet charts online. To your surprise, we found many variations and differences at all the charts that we saw. To give you a sense of what I'm trying to talk about, let's compare these two charts as an example. When we tried to analyze these two charts side by side, which we found online, we found at least 4 main differences. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Tigrinya alphabets, don't worry, this is just foundation. We will be learning each alphabet one by one. Let's first see how they start and end. So on the left side, we see that it starts with be. But on the right side, we can see that it starts with he. Another difference that we see is not only in the beginning, but also the endings. So on the left side, it ends with je, but on the right side, it ends with ve. The second difference or variation that we saw was in the pattern. By pattern, I mean the amount of legs that each alphabet has. So on the left chart, the pattern is two-legged, three-legged, one-legged, zero-legged, one-legged, and then two-legged. So this is on the left side, that's the pattern. But on the right side, the pattern is zero-legged, then two-legged, and then three-legged, and then back to zero, and then two-legged, and then a zero-legged, and then a two-legged, and then a one-legged, and so on. The third difference or variation that we saw was in the English representation. For example, on the left chart, is represented with the English letters QHE. This is on the left chart. But on the right chart, the same letter is represented as QE. This does not only happen on one letter, this also happens on he. So this is he, and it's actually very blurry, but the English representation is H''E. So don't forget, on the left side it's H''E. But on the right side, the same letter, he, is represented as HE. Another example of the difference in English representation is So this is and the English representation on the left chart is ''E. But on the right chart, is represented by the English letters capital E. So it's just capital E, nothing else. The fourth difference that we saw only happens on the right chart. So there is no English or repetition on the left chart. It's only on the right chart. So on the right chart, we can see that pe, so this is pe, is represented with the English letters PE. But P, which is this letter here, is also represented with the English letters PE. Again, this does not only happen with one letter, this also happens in Ch. So Ch is represented with the English letters CHE. But Ch is also represented with the English letters CHE. And the problem with having the same English representation in different Tigrinya letters is because, for example, P and P, okay? So in P, it sounds like P, like I could understand that. But P, even though it has the PE, it's not exactly pronounced as P, right? It's P. So that would be a problem for a new person. For example, if you just started learning Tigrinya, you would not know how to pronounce these two, and kind of couldn't have corrected you. And the same thing would happen with Ch and Ch. Unless someone told you, well, this is how you pronounce Ch, this is how you pronounce Ch, if you follow this chart directly, you will be confused and wrong. So to summarize what I've said so far, I've said that there's a difference in the beginning and endings. So on the left chart, it starts with B and ends with J. But on the right chart, it starts with H and ends with V. The second difference that we saw was on the pattern. So the pattern went on the left chart, it went from 2, and then it went up to 3, then down to 1, then down to 0, then up to 1, and then up to 2. On the right chart though, it went from 0 to 2, it went up to 2, and then up to 3, and then back down to 0, and then up to 2, back down to 0, up to 2, and then it went down by 1, and then the last one that we saw was 1. The third difference that we saw was in the English representation. So the English representation happened on both charts, so don't get confused with repetitions. So English representation was that q on the left chart was represented with the letters QHE, but on the right chart, the same letter q was represented with QE. This happens in H too. So H on the left chart was represented as H''E. But on the right chart, H was represented as just HE. The other example that we gave was A. So A on the left chart was represented with the English symbol and letter ''E. But on the right chart, A was only represented as capital E. And the fourth difference that we mentioned only happened on the right chart because there was no English repetition on the left chart. So on the left chart, we said that letter P and P were repeated because they're not repeated, but the English representation was repeated, and that was PE. The second example we gave was Ch. So Ch and Ch had the same English representation, which was CHE. So then you start to ask yourself, why are there all these differences? Well, we have the solution. So my focus in this video is not to answer what is the reason for all these differences, but my main focus will be on taking all the good stuff from those charts and try to find a chart that has the best of everything, and maybe add some things that will be helpful in the learning process. So these are some things that we want to make in our new Tigrinya chart. So in our new chart, characters with similar patterns, so pattern, amount of legs, so characters with the same amount of legs are put together and arranged in a natural order. So zero-legged alphabets are put together, so they are arranged from so their number set is from 1 to 6. In our new chart, they are all zero-legged alphabets. Then on our one-legged alphabet, which is from 7 to set number 7 to set number 15, they have also been arranged as one-legged alphabets. So these are all one-legged. Then these are the two-legged alphabets. So they are from set number 16 to set number 29. So all these are two-legged alphabets. Then lastly, the three-legged alphabets are arranged together from number 30 to set number 32. The other improvement we made in this new chart is Tigrinya characters will be represented with English characters that are exactly the same as the characters we would type in our computer keyboard and cell phone keypads, so that we will be able to achieve two things by doing a single action. It's like killing two birds with one stone. And if you're wondering how to write Tigrinya in digital device and what apps or softwares to use, stay tuned for our upcoming videos because we will cover that in the coming future. So then you start to ask yourself, is this chart we have made then perfect? It is not. For example, tse, which is this wonderful letter here, is represented as apostrophe SE instead of TSE, which most charts use to represent tse. So most charts represent tse as TSE. But TSE also doesn't sound like tse too. But we believe that we've tried to come up with something that does make sense. At least if you were to write Shift SE in your keyboard or keypad, you'll be able to write tse. But if you're writing TSE on your keyboard, it will not give you tse. As we have already seen, there are 32 basic letter sets and 7 orders. So this means we have a total of 224 basic letter sets. We came to this number by multiplying the basic letter sets, so that's 32, by the amount of orders, and that's 7. As a final notice, don't forget to look in the description below, as we have prepared for you a multiple choice question so that you'll be able to exercise what you've learned today. Let me know your answers in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will never miss a single one of our new videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.